Yeah. So please go ahead and ask Shilpaji.
Huh. So in the slokas, yeah, I think you have also flashed it. So Arjuna says that the one who destroys a family tradition dwell in hell for an indefinite period of time, and also it says the next generations born also will be ruined. Uh, so I think in one of our earlier classes, I learned that it is the karma of a person based on his previous vasanas. He or she has to face that, or get that to go ahead in the life. Now, when I'm reading this, I'm seeing that karma also will be transferred to the different people, be it in the form of next hereditary, be it in the form of the children or grandchildren. So I'm somehow reading that way. Is my understanding right? I know it is a question from Arjuna, it is not an answer from Krishna, but I'm still having that doubt.
Yeah, if you look at it, for example, the circumstances under which you are, there are broadly, if you think about it, there's an external circumstance, and so many of the external circumstances are not necessarily due to your own doing. What can be called as a collective doing. As an example, what is the reason why we have such bad roads in a city like Bangalore? Because the people who are supposed to put the right kind of road are not doing their work. Why are they not doing their work? Because the leaders who are guiding them are not doing their work. Why are the leaders not doing their work? Is because of whatever the way in which they have decided to guide their life's action. Now, in the first place, who chose those leaders to represent all of us? Collectively, we all have contributed to this particular situation. So, in that sense, the circumstances in which I live is a collective doing as well as an individual's doing. What Sri Krishna has been teaching through Bhagavad Gita, through the subsequent chapters, and with all the jnana about nature of karma, about the nature of the self, about how the whole existence functions, Brahmajnana, Atmajnana, Brahmajnana, through all that, what is that he is enabling you and me? To become stable within us, to become free within you. It is not about changing the external circumstance. Once when you change deeply from within, naturally your actions will start reflecting in whatever you are doing, and that will naturally bring about a modification. Much like how around a flower which is very nice and smelling good, there is a nice aura, isn't it? If a flower is smelling bad, not a very nice aura, you may not want to be around it. Whereas, in a flower where there is champaka, mallige, all these nice flowers, chandu mallige. So all these nice flowers are there. The environment becomes that much more interesting, is creative, and it inspires devotion naturally. So like that is the transformation. So that's the viewpoint, Shilpaji.
Um, okay, so as a person, though I take that path and get enlightened, or understand the inner consciousness, if uh, if our parents or our ancestors, if they haven't reached that, does it mean that that is inherited to me?
So when you are asking this question, inherited to me, who is me? Me is again the notion from where the question is coming is I am this. whatever this body and mind who's currently functioning in this particular circumstance, in this kala, desha. So the me, the reference to me there in that sentence is this. So from that me viewpoint, yes, you are going to inherit whatever the particular karma that has been performed, right? And that's natural. Look at anyone's body, the nature of the body in terms of its look, feel, height, weight, various capabilities, whether it is mental capabilities or physical capabilities. We say that it is genetical, right? So typically in a family of cheetahs, only cheetahs are born. In a family of cows, only cows are born. Like that, it is genetical. But in from what viewpoint? From the viewpoint of the body and the mind. Similarly, mind is also a function of whatever the collective environment, isn't it? You know the story of the two birds. One went to the pandit, one went to the butcher. Over a period of time, the one which went to the butcher learned the butcher language, killing, murdering, blood. The one which went to the pandita learned the pandita language, respecting, requesting, offering. So, whether it is the body level constitution or whether it is a mind level constitution, there is a function of the environment. That is where, from a scientific viewpoint, is it inherent or is it hereditary? We have all these questions, right? Is characteristic inherent or hereditary? That is where, if you recall our last week's discussion, guna, guna of the body, guna of the mind is a function of all these influences, right? This is what we call as karma. Karma at an individual, karma at a collective level. So what is karma? Karma influences the guna. But the power within you is to recognize swabhava, your inherent nature, and to transcend the gunas and to channelize the gunas in a manner that is harmonious. Valmiki was a thief. He could have lived life as a thief. But the inner awakening brought out the divine within him. And today we recognize him as great Rishi Valmiki, Angulimala. So, like that, there are so many stories in our tradition where a true transformation can happen. What is the true transformation here? So, you have the capacity to transcend your externalities or your gunas, whether it is a guna of the body or guna of the mind. You can transcend and you can then wield it to create a harmonious environment. Is this distinction bringing clarity?
Yes, Vijayji, I got the clarity. Thank you.
Yeah. So karma means what? Karma means doing. Karma is what appears as impressions, right? Why do I feel I have to drink coffee early in the morning? Because of karma. Meaning what? I have drunk before and I like it, and I've cultivated the samskara of as soon as I wake up, I need coffee. As an example, I'm saying. So karma means everyday drinking coffee and cultivating the samskara of, oh, I like it, I want it, I need it, has built the habit pattern. So now if somebody says, oh, he's very, very addicted to coffee, if that statement comes, it is because of the doing, the karma. Likewise, uh, our environment, the society in which we live, and the societal habits are a collective karma. Oh, there is no respect for elderly, there is no respect for our environment. Who is responsible? Each one of us collectively have contributed to this, what we call as a collective karma. This is at a guna level. What we see in the society is a reflection of the mindset, collective guna. What is reflected within an individual is a reflection of the individual's guna. Sri Krishna is teaching you can transcend both these, and you can be established in your inner true freedom. What is the nature of the action of such a person who is established, who transcends? That is what we call as seva. So the natural, once when one recognizes the true nature, inherently there is no separation between me and the others. And that brings a wave of action, a nature of action, which what others may label as seva. Uh, oh, look at how our Sadguru Narsim Prabhuji lives. His life is all about others, how he can serve others, what he can offer to others. Now, that is not coming out of an intellectual thinking of, oh, I have to serve others. As a mother, you are not intellectually thinking, I have to love and serve my children. It is a natural feeling. Like that, a natural feeling of how I can create an harmonious environment, because I and environment are not separate. It is me. It is me. Any other clarifications?
Not from my side, Vijayji.
Anything else to add or ask Rajita ji or Padma Amma on that particular question?
Vijayji, it's like Jiva Jagat Ishvara. So as a Jiva, when I feel that duality, I am separate from Ishvara and the world, then all the suffering arises, or all the what do you call all the thoughts, like how the doubts and everything arises, and when that the feeling of oneness between Ishvara, Jiva, and Jagat happens, then I think we'll not have we'll focus on doing the right thing. We right actions are performed by this Jiva.
Correct.
So that is how uh, yeah, it's my perspective.
Correct. Once when the awakening happened,
Yeah,
Ratnakara no more wanted to kill or hurt others. And
perfect example, Vijayji. Yeah.
when he saw the Krauncha Pakshis, a natural poem appeared from within him.
Mm.
Came Ramayana, right? So now,
Yes, yes.
what is the genesis or what is the basis of that action? That action is not an intellectual action.
Mm.
It's a very natural outflow of your own true nature.
Correct. So how important it is to recognize our own nature.
Yeah, yeah,
So forgetting that the worldly Macaulay education system is asking the students to study other things, and we are forgetting our own nature. So the root thing has to be corrected from education system only. I think so, Vijay.
absolutely, absolutely,
Yes.
Ji. As we keep saying, no, see, there are
Mm.
two fundamental aspects to you and I as a human being.
Mm.
There is a what we can generally call as a head, and there is what
Mm.
we can call as heart.
Yes.
And our actions are an indication of, is someone balanced, meaning what?
Mm.
Is head and heart, are they balanced? Or when there is imbalance, if head takes over or only heart takes over, it leads to an imbalanced action.
Correct, Vijayji.
Our traditional Mekala education, what we are currently seeing in school, has a high head tendency.
Yes, Vijayji.
It only intellectualizes even the plants. And as an example, if we all are a product of such a learning environment. Our
Yes.
11th and 12th, we all went and did the dissection. Uh,
Mm.
uh, you know, I still remember, um, we were to catch a cockroach and bring and dissect. And prior to that, they would supply, somebody would go and, they would usually have this contract with some people who would go to these lakeside, catch frogs, and those frogs would be dissected. Now, all I recall when I this day is very vividly registered in my mind. That day, me and my mother, we caught a cockroach and I had put it in a glass jar. I had to take it to the college next day for dissection.
Mm.
Somehow, by evening, no, look at
Mm.
the miracle of life, or look at the magic of life.
Mm.
Generally, when we see a cockroach, the tendency is to simply
Kill
deploy,
it.
right? But
Yeah.
that day, when we saw it being there and when we knew the consequence of what was happening,
Mm.
by evening, somehow both of us, without speaking to each other, both of us felt, let's let it go.
Mm.
So we let it go. Next day, I went and they had other supplies of cockroach. So I don't remember, what I learned. They opened the frog and the frog's heart was still beating. There was an experiment where, it was showing how even when the frog was dissected, certain functions will continue to happen. So now, it was not a very pleasant feeling. I'm not saying that people who go into medicine cannot should not be learning how to dissect and all that. But is this the right way? Is dissection the right way of a living animal to learn about something? When we look at Ayurveda has learned the deepest secrets of various plants and animals without necessarily going into killing. So there must be a more inclusive way of learning and functioning in life. So
Mm.
when we desensitize our hearts and when
Mm.
we only orient towards head, we
Mm.
create a culture which objectifies everything and is ready to kill. First is a frog by desensitizing, then an animal. An animal
Mm.
is, sorry, a human. A human is another object. So, an objectified way of learning can kill anything because it's all about head.
Yes. True, Vijayji.
Okay.
So that is the reason Guruji has the vision of Ghar Ghar Gurukul, so that he can balance, as you said, head and heart. And recently, I was watching one video. There, one scientist was telling the heart which generates the electromagnetic field is 5,000 times more than the brain or thinking brain which generates the field. So that that is the reason the feelings are more powerful than the thinking. So that is what they have discovered recently, the scientists, which our rishis know that.
Correct.
All our rishis, by doing their tapas sadhana, they knew the thing, and um, now they are discovering, and they are also now many of the gurukulas are coming up in and around our country. So again, to bring back the Sanatana Dharma and to make this happen by God's grace.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you were about to say something.
Um, I was just recollecting when you said that, right, that your experience while cutting this killing this cockroach.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I was watching one video between Sadhguru and Jaggi Vasudev and Sunita Williams, space astronaut. And they were asking one question to Sadhguru, because Sadhguru is exploring inner space, inner consciousness, right? Sunita Williams is exploring the outer space. So they were asking him a question: how can we use or make use of the tools which we attain using the ones which we develop through inner consciousness to reach that outer space? That was the question asked. Though I didn't understand the answer, he said, first of all, we are in a consuming culture more than conservative culture, right? So he said that. So everywhere we see, we want to know what I can get from it, how I can use it. So that is a mindset. And he gave an answer that inner space, inner experience, sadhana doing this is to explore our own self, to know. But if you want to explore outer space, it is like to use. So he said both won't marry, both won't meet. That is what he said the answer. But I'm seeing little contradiction here. When we follow this kind of principles, this kind of education system, it definitely helps us to reach the inner experience the inner consciousness, or make it more elegant. And at the same time, it also helps to achieve the external balance. That is what I'm seeing, little contradiction, maybe because of my poor understanding, but I thought I'll put
What is
that.
the good question? What is the contradiction you're seeing? Can you elaborate on the contradiction?
To the same answer what Sadhguru said, I mean, why can't we say that inner experiencing the inner consciousness helps to do the things easier, like without cutting the cockroach, dissecting the lizards? I mean, we would have done even a better job, right? So can't we make use of our inner consciousness to know more tools without hurting others, and we'll know more about it? But whatever Sadhguru said, both are different. This is for a different purpose, that is for different purpose. He answered that. That is where I didn't understand his intent yet, but I don't know whether
Yeah,
I'm trying to.
I've not heard his statement per se, so therefore I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But very simple examples, I'm sure you also would know, Shilpaji. When someone asked our great mathematician Ramanujam, what is giving you this power? Because the um, the flow with which Ramanujam was able to create many of the mathematical constructs, many were taken aback. How are you doing this? And he said, it is Devi writing through me. When these things are flowing through me, I am not there. Now, that's a very mystical answer. When someone is not aware of how the divine functions in life, it may sound like, oh, it's a magical, mystical, totally, it cannot be understood. But it is a very simple pointer to that reality or the truth of life. What is that? What is that Ramanujam is saying? Or for that matter, when you hear any of the great creators, whether it is in the field of the art, music, sculpture, in whichever field of the human endeavors, when you listen to the most profound and the ones who are creating the most astounding creations, when you listen to them, there's a common thread. So somebody poetically explained it. How do you create poem? And that particular poet was expressing something like this: a feeling of all that whatever I need to express comes, and in that in that field, in that wave, I don't exist, and only that whatever I need to create exists. And all I have to do is whatever that feeling, I have to just let it be captured on a piece of paper. Another expression of creation, right? Now look at what mathematician Ramanujam is saying, what this poet is saying, or for that matter, someone who is engrossed in a picture, especially little children, or even you and me, if we are made to write a picture, usually people get engrossed. What does engrossed really mean? What is happening there? During that process of creation, the sense that I am doing, that ego, when that ego is set aside, there is something that simply functions through this body and mind. The barrier is this constructed ego, I. When that I is kept aside, so in the case of Ramanujam, he always says, I surrender to Devi. And Devi functions, which is what that poet is saying. There is a feeling, there's a wave that comes, or that engrossed child. The child is not sitting and explaining what I am doing, how I am doing. The child is not thinking. When that I, individual based thinking, is not there, there seems to be something that magical creation that happens in life. That is the pointer that all of these are giving. So now what is this pointer? This pointer is at an unconscious level, what even someone who may not have had the spiritual understanding of who I am, there is no exploration of the inner consciousness. The one who has not necessarily taken that field of study of who I am, or how all this is happening, Atmajnana, Brahmajnana, even for the one who is not established in that, even they have this glimpse, right? That little child, maybe not completely aware of its own inner divine nature, but still is a reflection of that. What the Atmajnana, Brahmajnana enables you is to recognize that. But in terms of action, you still have to remove the ego that becomes the block for creation. When the ego that is a block for the creation goes away, then if you truly look at it, life is inner consciousness expressed in the outer. So many of them, many times you may also have felt it speaks to me. In Ayurveda, there's a very sacred tradition of the Rishi or the Muni or the Vaidya who has to find a cure for a particular disease. The traditional way is the Vaidya or the Rishi would go into a deeper contemplative state, would go into the aranya, and the right plant calls him, guides him, because his sincere prayer is, may through the power of this offering that you have, in a way, it's like tulsi flower, tulsi plant, when we go and do the puja, tulsi has lot of medicinal powers. And the sincere prayer by that Vaidya is, may your power help heal this. And who is ready to offer, may please come. So the feeling of offering, that is yajna, is invoked through that sincere prayer. For who? For the benefit of that rogi. And who has to offer? That plant has to offer. What is the role of the Vaidya? simply to be in that space, to listen and to invoke this divine. The one who is suffering in the form of the body is the divine. The one who is offering in the form of the divine, in the form of the plant, is divine. And the one who is negotiating this, the one who is bridging them, the Vaidya, is the divine. So, in that space of offering, there are no two or three. There's a natural communication that happens, and that naturally leads to a natural outcome. So, external discovery, it may appear like an external discovery, but there's an inner space that has opened up. And that inner space opening is what the great rishis and the munis and our Gurukula education always focused on. Opening of that inner space. Once when that inner space has opened, in whatever the particular external space that one child may focus on, it may be music, it may be architecture, it may be science, whatever it may be, in that particular external space, an amazing outcome happens. That is why when we look around in that glorious what we call as the past, so many spectacular things, whether it's astronomy, architecture, whether it is Rasayana Shastra, whether it is Bhauta Shastra, whether it is city planning. You take any particular aspect of life of the traditional India. In all these spaces, what is currently foundational aspects in the so-called Western science has is its origins in India. How is it possible? Because of this inner space opening. So that's the pointer, Shilpaji.
Yeah, I'm able to perfectly relate, Vijayji. Um, Even the meaning, what Sadhguru said, I'm able to relate now.
Yeah. Wonderful. So let's pause this particular contemplation here.